We've struggled for so long in our communities and within our cultures due to the historical trauma that has plagued us for generations. What would the future of Native wellness look like? Would it be a return to traditional ways? Or would it be a mixing of present day and historical methods? Who are we when we're well? Who are we when our communities are thriving? Who are we when we are able to be joyful and resilient and treat each other with kindness and generosity? Who are we when we love ourselves, when we have had these heart-to-heart conversations with our ancestors and let them know that all the hard work that they did, all the suffering that they endured has paid off because they gave us this life, they gave us a chance, and it's our privilege and an honor to be able to take what has been left for us and to do the very best, to live the very best life that we can. Our body is a library, a walking library, and it is filled with so much information. It carries all the memories of not only our life and experience, but also our parents and grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents, all the way back for 7 generations. That accumulation of memory, especially if it's been unprocessed, is what we refer to as historical trauma. Sometimes our ancestors did not have the ability to work through things because events were happening so quickly and they were so tragic and there was so much change. That change including being torn away from homelands or from family, lots of grief, lots of death. And that process in and of itself retained the memories of those events and passed it forward to our generation, the 7th generation. And we have a responsibility to that, to clear that up. And that's really what we focus on at our nonprofit group, Freedom Lodge. We focus on how do we help people to access and reconcile those events that they're storing inside. Because as they accumulate, it gets deeper and deeper and more profound and starts to turn into symptoms like depression, like disease. Our nervous system can only handle so much. Our communities are still under siege, and there are still many elements that trigger us. But as we utilize these somatic-based skills, we find that we're able to help people alleviate the burden of the past, to heal not only for those who've come before us, but also for those yet to come. We stand at the apex of 14 generations, 7 behind and 7 ahead. And in that place we have so much power because our actions and everything that we do not only heals and unburdens our ancestors, but it also allows us to not pass those burdens on to the next generations. There's a lot of power in this place, and most of us don't recognize the capacity that we have to create change. That change is inherently what is required so that we do have a future, an indigenous future of wellness. Courage is what it takes to be able to go within yourself and find those places that are overwhelmed or feel unloved or dysfunctional. And because alongside those sit the places that are creative and that are joyful and that are productive. We are many, many things. But as we use these somatic-based skills, somatic just referring to the body, as we access memory within our body, we find that we're able to find our own cure. That within our system, we hold not only the positive or negative or difficult or beautiful experiences that we've had, but we also hold the capacity to heal or to mend, or sometimes we call it to be corrective within our system. Our body is always looking to heal, and this information is not accessible in our mind. We can't think our way out of fear, but we can feel our way out. And the body's communication system is not a language, its language is sensation. So when we follow sensation within our body, we find that we're able to hear and to know and to remember the places that we've been and the experiences that we've had, almost like, an ability to relive them. And in that recapitulation of those memories and those experiences, we find that we have the capacity to be corrective. So we utilize this somatic system called somatic archaeology as a way of drawing up what no longer serves us, as a way of instigating memory so that we can bring it to the surface, make it conscious, and process it through. Hence, we're digesting all that we have taken in. Each of us, as a tribal or indigenous person, is necessary. Each of us has a role to play. Each of us holds valuable information, knowledge that has been passed forward. Maybe it's artistic knowledge, possibly ceremonial knowledge. Maybe it's knowledge about language or culture. I invite you to find a way to join this process by bringing that knowledge forward. That knowledge can often be buried underneath traumatic events. It can be masked by things that happen that make us possibly feel unworthy or, cause us to be distracted or avoidant of those gifts that we hold. But in order to rebuild a future. We need all of us to be present, because each of us has a value. Our numbers are strong, but our knowledge is rich and deep. These skills that we're sharing with you in our program allow us to find reconciliation. So as we take off these layers that suppress the deeper purpose inside of us, it allows a light to shine, a clarity to come forward that gives us a sense of purpose. It's why we ask, who are you when you're free? Who are you when you're not sick or addicted or anxious or abusive or being abused? You know, who are you when you're positive and on track and feeling strong and resilient and empowered? You can know that. That's already inside of you. It just requires going in to find that information, to reconcile all that's happened, all the memories that you carry, and make power out of them, to make medicine out of the tragedies, to make beauty out of the hurt. We owe it to ourselves, we owe it to our ancestors, and we owe it to our children and our grandchildren and all those generations yet to come. We're still here. We still have so many gifts and such big hearts. We invite you to join us on this mission of the future of Native wellness. We have to think our way and feel our way out of the boxes we've been put in, so that we can embody our truth, so that we can be free to follow our hearts. Oh.